By now, Nerdosphere, most of you have already seen it. Marvel making their heartfelt sales pitch to send us back to the movies. They have a plan, but is it any good? And welcome back to the best damn nerd show, Nerdosphere. James Kincaid alongside John Craig. Be sure to hit that thumbs up like button. We're talking the MCU and their pitch to get us back to the movies. It was, they were tugging on the heartstrings and everything like that. And also rolling out their plan. I'm sure throughout sort of the MCU tauntauns out there, there's a lot of nerdgasm. I don't know if robots can nerdgasm, but I'm sure that if they can, they were. Let's take a look at this video.
They've been programmed to enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's the best one since the last one. The next one will be the best one since that one. Let's take a look at the video. I'm not bitter. Having a great time.
Being with people. It's the most incredible thing in the world.
What are you doing?
Where's Uncle Ben? Where's Uncle Ben?
That world may change and evolve. But the one thing that will never change, we're all part of one big family.
I love hearing Stanley. We go to escape. This is going to be a theme here.
See, this one I'm excited for.
Get lost in a story.
That man next to you, he's your brother.
And a super villain.
That woman over there, she's your sister.
Higher, further, faster, baby. That's right.
Boo. Feel connected.
We're all part of one universe.
Wakanda forever!
That moves ever upward and onward to greater glory.
A share moment. Yeah. This is tight.
On your left.
Nice.
Avengers!
There's those NPCs you were talking about.
I was one of them there.
Please save our company.
I've lived a lot of lives. But I'm done running from my past. We have unfinished business. Who's we?
I'm more excited for Black Widow than for Shang-Chi.
No, I actually want to save it. I'm not going to pay for it, but once it comes out
When you
on
love
wide
something,
release.
you
The
fight for it.
Eternals. Nobody cares. All-star cast.
We're the ones who changed everything.
I'm into that.
Love and Thunder.
We can recast?
I'm into this one. I'm down.
Yeah, so this got everybody wishing was the Fantastic Four potentially being brought in next, which is exciting.
Yeah.
See you at the movies. So, few things to get into with that.
Davis is already at Walgreens stocking up,
Davis
stealing,
is already at the freaking theater.
stealing candy and putting it all in his baggy pants. The amount of gobstoppers I've eaten out of his pants is just obscene.
Davis, I can hear him saying, "I'll see you at the movies."
I'm already here.
Yeah, he's
gonna pay for one of those tickets, and he's gonna end up seeing all of them. He's gonna sleep in
those
the
are
bathroom.
days.
Yeah.
So first things first. That was an amazing promo propaganda tool. Like, I mean, just hats off. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. Like, from a production aspect, that was magnificent.
I agree. It shows an amazing body of work, and it doesn't even scratch the surface for the MCU. There's so much missing from that. Like, it really only shows like the recent years, honestly. a couple of recent projects. It doesn't even go that far back, and like the actual cinematic theatrical memories that have been created amongst friends, amongst the community. Like it's amazing what they've been able to accomplish. And I think that it truly represents theatrical blockbuster, like modern day cinema is the MCU. It's what you go to the movies for. It's the magic of it.
Yeah, and I appreciate just the spectacle of that piece. I mean, just again, great production. I thought it was a masterstroke using Stan Lee's voiceover, which, you know, if you are a fan of, you know, comics or really anything nerdy, you are very well aware of Stan Lee, and so just hearing his voice after his passing is instant, you know, feels pulling on the heartstrings. Yep. Another master stroke that the audience reaction tie-in in the video, like, was really smart and showing just sort of, because the whole thing is to pull you back into actually going to the movies. Mm-hmm. It is a commercial for all of their movies that will be coming out, but the crux of it is because they want you to actually physically go out and go back to the movies. And there is something borderline patriotic about that, and I agree with them. I do want to go back to the movies and, you know, be with my fellow nerds. Like, I think back to when, you know, we went to the Avengers movie marathon and, you know, did that whole deal. And there is magic at the movies that cannot be captured in watching from your own home.
Especially these movies, because they hard code like applause breaks in the movies. Like they are designed for the movie theaters. They really are. Like they're designed for those moments where a reveal happens or something big happens, and it elicits that feeling, and that feeling is something that you don't get in your living room. You only get it in the theater. So, I mean, by all means, like I think everyone's excited to someday safely go back to the movie theaters. What's left of the movie theaters.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that's the whole thing, because in our talking here at the Best Damn Nerd Show about Restore the Snyderverse and where that might live, a lot of that might live not at the movies. It might not live in theaters, but on HBO Max and stuff like that. And, you know, I want to see the Snyderverse restored and live on. I'd love to see it in the theaters, but it's like, we'll take what we can get. And we've had discussions about, well, you know, the future of this stuff might very well be on streaming and not in the theaters. And that still could be true. I'm still a fan of going to the movies, though, for that experience. So I do agree and appreciate the sentiment here. That being said, you know, once we get into what they're actually promoting and stuff, is there any doubt that the best days of the MCU are long gone and far behind them?
You know,
the best days of the MCU have came and went. John Craig.
Going back to my earlier statement about how much was left out of this, I think that was very purposeful. Like, you don't want to show Iron Man and Captain America and all the great Avengers movies and all this amazing work that you've done, and then
you know who they had to show? You know who they had to show for the big applause line? Is for the guy that isn't going to be in those upcoming movies.
I know.
Captain America, the guy that got the big reaction. And, you know, this thing was rife with Captain Marvel and all that stuff like that. Nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody cared about Captain Marvel going into that, coming out of that, because her whole role was to give Rogue super strength and fight.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, no one
belongs in a coma.
I've already gone off on this rant, so I won't go too far into it. But no one's ass is getting out of the home and running back to the theaters to see Black Widow. I'm sorry, that
one's going to be streaming too.
yeah, but whatever theaters it is in, like, no one's going to see that, and even buying the premium pass to watch that is complete bullshit. That's a movie that should come with my subscription, as should Shang-Chi. I'm sorry. Doctor Strange, maybe I'll put some money down and go see that.
I like Doctor Strange, but
and likewise with Guardians of the Galaxy, because I really like those movies too.
The Guardians for me, though, is because Chris Hemsworth decided I want to be funny too, is probably going to ruin the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. You know, again,
he has Love and Thunder or whatever.
His sins of but he's going to be in Guardians too. He and that whole deal. I mean, just apparent the best days of the MCU are behind them, no
You're
doubt
not wrong
about it. I mean, Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, and then they sort of tease the Fantastic Four, but at this point, I have no faith that they're going to get that right. And the Spider-Man, far from good was the last one. No Way Home is this one. So I just. None of it to me is really that appealing. And in watching the Disney Plus efforts, the further and further away I get from WandaVision, the less sort of impactful it is. It did have some good acting in it from Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen and stuff like that. But the further away I get from it, it's like, well, what was the point? And I went with no expectations, so I really enjoyed it.
Meant to be like a re-up, like remind you, like, hey, remember, there's some characters.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was really not good. And again, I like Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. They're great in their roles and were well cast, but they had nothing to work with that was good in that show, really. Unfortunately.
Do you think that they're going too far with how deep down the roster that they go for theatrical and television? Because honestly, like, they could do more with the more popular characters. They really could.
I think that's an interesting question. I think it's cool in certain aspects. That's like, I liked Doctor Strange growing up. Never did I think, though, that he would get a movie, let alone, I guess he already had one when I was a kid, but, like a more mainstream version of it to be incorporated in a universe like this.
So that's one that worked.
I think the mistake is that not everyone needs a movie. And they did that well with the Incredible Hulk. He got, unfortunately, Edward Norton had to exit, but he got like his setup one, and then he could just be incorporated by nature of the character and stuff like that. The more interesting thing to me is the dishonesty in the fan base, that they're so like sort of rah excited or whatever if they did a Squirrel Girl movie or something like that. It's like that everything that MCU craps out on their conveyor belt is like, again, it's the reason this one's the best one since the last one, and the next one will be the best one since that one. I can't stomach really that anymore, because
I'm with you on
with
that.
a straight face, can you tell me that these recent MCU movies have been better than what the past was of the MCU? That very rarely do I hear sort of a balanced critique. No, what I hear is more like music fans or people that go against sort of the glitterati of the world, like the Taylor Swifts or the Beyoncés or the Lady Gagas of the world and stuff like that, where if you say anything negative, you are attacked for it, because it's 100% everything in the MCU is the greatest, or, you are the enemy. And in one of the things in this video, talk about going to escape and to, share moments and stories, the whole idea of escapism. I didn't feel a lot of escapism in some of the more recent stuff that the MCU has done, in particular Falcon and Winter Soldier. So that's out the window. I don't think that they're leaning more into the escapism. I appreciate the sentiment of them wanting us to go back to the movies. And I will. I don't know if I'm going to go back for these movies. I might check out Fantastic Four if they do it right this time, or at least if the prevailing sort of whispers are.
I'm down. I would be down to go see Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy, and then the others. I'll probably just not watch several of them, and then I'll probably check out Shang-Chi when it's available to just watch streaming. But I'm not going to pay any extra for that. But I mean, it definitely begs the question, and this is probably a whole nother video topic for a whole nother day, but like, given that there's limited time and resources to devote to making blockbuster films, right? Like, let's say you can only make X amount in a year. How much is it worth going down the rabbit hole of new characters, or not new characters, more characters from the Marvel roster versus expanding out characters that are already fan favorites and that people love, and that there's good actors that play them. People are interested in those characters. Like, I know that, like, we started with the characters that eventually became the Avengers, but like, those are also just extremely popular Marvel characters that you could just keep exploring movies with.
Iron Man's popularity was definitely helped by the movies, but he was a big time character for sure. I think that keep running out Spider-Man, regardless of how I feel about the MCU Spider-Man movies, which are not Spider-Man at all, but an Iron Spider with no Uncle Ben underpinning, and he's obsessed with Tony Stark, and it's stupid. Be that as it may, that is the right take about what those movies are. No besmirchment of Tom Holland. His performance is great. Could lose Fat Ned Leeds and MJ or whatever, but keep running Spider-Man out. keep running that back because he is the name on the marquee for Marvel. Yeah. He has been for all of our lives. Like Spider-Man is sort of the number one draw for Marvel. So the fact that the MCU it has that capability, keep running him out there, and you got a young actor, so that's great. And there's tons and tons of stories that if they're not stupid, they can explore with Spider-Man. You know, the other ones, it's almost to make a wrestling comparison, they could get into the sort of, or a UFC comparison, trying to make new stars, even though they're established, they've been established in the comic books, but to create new movie star characters that, you know, hopefully if a ton of people, if we make a great Shang-Chi movie, that he'll be one of the ones that people really want to go see. And they've done it before. They did it with Guardians of the Galaxy. They did it with Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes. And I think that that's really where maybe a lot of sort of that is like, dude, if we can get Guardians of the Galaxy over, and people loved Guardians of the Galaxy, we can do any character, and they're just gonna, and so, you know, pride comes before a fall on that sense. But the other thing that I take away from this video is that at least they have a plan where you look over and you see what's going on with Ann Sarnoff at WB.
Fuck you, Ann.
Hey, you knew this was coming, Ann, but at least they have a plan. And we all know, you know, the Joker said it best, you know,
imagine
everything is fine if it goes according to plan.
Imagine
if the plan is horrible.
It's true. It's true. Imagine if at the end of that video it just had one more frame that fades on that just says hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Dude,
the last frame should have been just Zack Snyder's face with the Ghost Rider underwriting of it. It's like, dude, we got your guy too, man. Get fucked, man.
Yeah, dude, we got your Snyderverse too. It's a Ghost Rider Snyderverse, but it's still a Snyderverse.
They restore the Riderverse, dude. Oh my god. But yeah, that was the last takeaway was like, you know, even though I might not be digging everything they're putting out, at least, man, they have a system and a plan in place. And again, and then there's WB. They're just like a dog, you know.
No.
It's Sarnoff, Agent of Chaos.
The Marvel factory is hard at work, baby. Now it's just about getting people in butts and seats to watch these things.
Yeah. And in closing, I will go back to the movies, but the best days of the MCU long behind them. Thanks so much for watching this far, Nerdosphere. Be sure to like and subscribe. Get in on the conversation. bestdamnnerdshow.com/Discord. Maybe you think I'm way out of line for not wanting to go to laugh at my superheroes. You can check us out on Patreon, bestdamnnerdshow.com/Patreon. Maybe you're going to save some money on movie tickets and you could put it towards our Patreon. We appreciate all of the support.